Well, lots happening in the business world this week, and that means we have a lot of questions. To help us with the answers is Nick Bontis, who's not only an award-winning professor from the DeGroote School of Business at McMaster University, he's also a much sought-after public speaker. Wow, that's quite the intro, isn't it?
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you for joining us. Our first topic, of course, big news this week is Toyota's crisis management related to their malfunctioning brakes, of course. Now, this seems to be getting even worse as the days continue. Is the company doing a good enough job right now with their, public relations relating to their customers?
Well, happy Friday to you first, Kate.
Yes, you as well.
I don't think they're doing such a good job, to be honest. Once the news hit, the stock went from 90 bucks down to 70 bucks. That's a 20% hit right off the bat on the market size and the market value of this organization. The CEO came on TV, finally. 1 week way too late, should have been ahead of the story. David Letterman was ahead of the crisis. Tiger Woods was behind the crisis. You got to be ahead of these crises. The CEO, when he came on TV, of course, it's very customary in Japan to bow, and he didn't have one of those types of bows that's really, really deep, which is customary in Japan when you're really, really sorrowful. So I think the problem is going to get worse. I also think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Once the government intervention comes in, the government's going to be looking at some of the problems. Toyota might not be the only manufacturer that's going to get in trouble. Let's face it, the vendor who makes those brakes for lots of different auto companies. And the only thing that I find weird about the situation is, the government now in the U.S. owns GM and Chrysler. So if Toyota comes down to Washington and gets beat up by Washington a little bit too much, isn't it kind of like a little bit of quasi-protectionism?
I'm going to leave that one to you and not comment. Now, today, we'll get on to the next topic. A deal was reached by the Canadian government on the new Buy American policy in the U.S. What's your take on the whole deal?
Well, lifting the Buy American is a good thing, right? Because protectionism doesn't protect anybody in the long run. It just makes people get lazy. Then there's no innovation. It's a good opportunity for the Canadians to get back into the U.S. marketplace because we're slowly turning it around, and the American economy is also slowly turning it around. But there's a flip side to this deal, and the flip side is that now American organizations can come back and bid for Government of Canada contract jobs, which means don't believe that we're free here as Canadians. We're going to have to compete against the Americans as well. So it's a two-way street here when you open up trade. In the long run, I like it. I hope all of those barriers get shut down.
Excellent. Okay, now this is the hot topic, and I was really looking forward to asking you about this one, the iPad. Within minutes of the CEO, Steve Jobs, announcing and unveiling the tablet device, Apple's stock price, it tumbled. Now, is this the end of their wonderful streak of revolutionary new product launches, or what happened? I thought everyone would be just going nuts for this.
I don't think it's the end, Kate. I think it's the beginning. What Steve Jobs does, he always does in an amazing way. So, of course, the iPod revolutionized the music industry. The iPhone has revolutionized the mobile phone industry. And the iPad is going to do the same with publishing. The old school market of books and going to a bookstore to buy a printed book, that's going to go the way of the dodo bird in the next couple of years. And you know what? Apple sees that vision. So we're going to have people reading books through their e-readers. It's going to be very, very popular. I can foresee myself as a professor 10 years from now just handing out electronic files to students. Nobody's going to be reading a book. So in my opinion, this baby's going to get launched in about 2 months by the end of March. Once it comes out, you're going to see a whole bunch of people and students with their iPads. People are going to be lounging on the beach on vacation. They're not going to be reading the romance novel anymore. They're going to be reading it on the iPad.
Don't tell me that. Are you telling me when I head away I'm going to have the iPad? Actually, it is pretty cool. There's a lot of people that are really looking forward to that one. Okay, switching gears again. Sure. We're throwing everything at you today. How about investments, of course? With only 4 weeks left in the RRSP season, what should investors be looking for to really bolster their investments?
First of all, I feel sorry for everybody. Shed a little bit of tears because you know what? In 2009, your portfolio got slammed. That's the reality of the situation. You're not the only one. Everybody got slammed. But the good news is that 2010 is looking much brighter. The market is recovering. Earlier this week, we had a couple of days with huge market losses, and today we recovered. So don't be afraid about jumping into the marketplace. What you need to do, of course, is diversify. So a couple things. Number one, make sure you put some gold in your portfolio. Buy a gold mutual fund or any sort of basket of goods that increases your gold consumption. Why? Because gold, I think, is on the upswing, about $1,000 right now, and I think it's going to get higher. And the second thing is make sure you have international diversification in your portfolio. Might want to buy some foreign stocks either in South America or in Europe, because you know what? The further away you get from the Canadian and the U.S. marketplace, the more you diversify, the more you're protected from any one country's faults. So that's the plan, I think, and you got 4 weeks to do it.
But there's still, you have to get on that topic, because some people will listen to you and then say, how do I do that though?
Sure.
You know, I mean, you know your stuff. So how do you recommend people go about that? I mean, I can't just go on and say, I'm going to buy gold. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, you know what, Kate? The first thing everybody's got to do is go to the bank. Every single person pretty much in Canada has a bank account. Well, guess what? Every single branch has a portfolio advisor. Go in, make an appointment with your portfolio advisor. Just speak to any financial planner. You don't have to buy something from the financial planner. You don't have to buy something from that bank. But that 1 hour appointment that you have with your financial planner, he's going to give you good advice.
Okay, now we've got to get on the other hot topic. It is Super Bowl Sunday this weekend. 30-second TV ads are going for, get this, $2.5 million a piece. Are there any special commercials this year that we should be looking for?
Well, I love Super Bowl time because I love the game, but I love watching those TV commercials. And the big one to watch out for this year is GoDaddy.com. And the reason for that, and you're going to soon see, is that they are now doing a wonderful job at integrating the TV message with the online message. So we know that social media is big right now, Kate, so making sure that your viewers go from the TV commercial right to online is the real secret to developing a relationship.
Well, then why don't we right now actually show the viewers? We have that commercial for you. Take a look.
I search for a domain name at GoDaddy.com. A girl talks to me. A girl, watch, SmokingHotDreamGirl.com.
Oh, that's Danica Patrick.
So, you little maniacs want another domain name?
Yes, please.
How about SmokingHotDance.com?
See what happens next at GoDaddy.com.
Okay, I think that one's definitely going to get some reaction, don't you? I won't be looking for that during Super Bowl.
People are going to go online right now to see how that ends.
I was just going to say, for sure, they're not even going to wait for Super Bowl. That's our time, of course. Nick Bontis, Bontis on Business. You can check out his website, nickbontis.com. Thanks again so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
Have yourself a good weekend.